Well, hello and welcome back to Microvellum Live. We are glad that you took the time to join us here today for our at-home edition of Microvellum Live. Like many of you here today, we are working from home during this time. The nation is in lockdown, and we hope that you are staying safe and healthy, and we appreciate you taking the time to be here with us. Well, today we are going to be talking with Matt Parisher, a longtime user and account manager based out of Texas, and we'll be showing you how to add user-defined prompts to products. As you may know, the prompts are a powerful interface within the software that allows you to make on-the-fly adjustments to control the configurations of your products, the way it's constructed, the hardware, the materials that are used, and so much more. And Matt's going to get into helping us understand how users can create their own logic and expand this UI for their own product libraries. So you might have noticed our live event format has changed a little. Instead of our usual hour-long segments, we're going to be shifting to a daily schedule. And so with the goal to provide shorter sessions and more frequent educational opportunities for our users and the community to engage in. So we look forward to kicking this new campaign off. So we'll be updating our schedule weekly, but if you have an idea or topic that you'd like to see presented, let us know by emailing us at live@microvellum.com. So now let's turn things over to Matt and get started with our topic for today. How's it going, Matt?
It's going well, thanks, Clay.
Awesome.
So what I'd like to show you today is keeping it simple. We're going to add a few custom prompts to a product, simple product that you may find useful in your everyday use with the program. Something like countertops and grommet cutouts and something like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by drawing in our product default out of the library, coming into draw, and we're going to select out of the countertop category our countertop product. For this one, I like to use just the plant on splash, the one that I typically want to use. And we're going to leave all of our default values the same. We're not going to modify anything in case we want to save it back to the library. We want everything to be default in that regard. So we'll draw it in just like this. So here's our product. So to get right into this, we're going to go ahead and add in a prompt. So going into part properties, an interface that most of you are probably aware of by now, we have our product here at the top and our parts list on the right, but what we're really interested in right now is this prompts tab at the bottom. Prompts can exist inside subassemblies and products. For this example, we're just going to do it in the product. So on the right-hand column here, we have a list of the visible and hidden prompts. Up at the top, we have the visible prompts, and at the bottom, we have the hidden. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start building our prompts. If I right-click on this list, we're going to add a visible prompt, and what we want to do is we want to add a grommet. Just like that. So now that we have this prompt activated, you see here that the parameters for this prompt are these text boxes and pull-down menus right here, and we're going to start building information down here. So I want a default value of 1 for something like a checkbox, because we want to be able to check whether or not this is on or off. Values of a checkbox are going to be 1 or a 0. So we want our default value to maybe be on, that way we can test it. For help text, you don't want it to ignore help text in most cases, especially for people coming into it and wondering what's going on with this. So it's always beneficial to add a bit of help text here. So we'll add checkbox to add grommet. And we'll give it a color as well so we can see it easily in the part properties or product prompts. All right, so once we have that built, we'll go ahead and save and close, and we're going to take a look at our product prompts to look at the change. There we go. We have our new prompt, just like that. At this point, it doesn't do much. It just turns on and off, but let's take it a bit further. I'm going to go back into part properties. We're going to go back into our prompts tab, and we're going to start adding additional prompts. Prompt controls for the intended grommet. So we're going to continue to add visible prompts. So for this one, I want to determine grommets, grommet manufacturers, and placements, something like that. So we're just gonna go ahead and add these in. Grommet manufacturer. Grommet type. So for these two, I want these to be a pull-down menu where I can select the type of the manufacturer and then the type of grommet that manufacturer provides. So I'll come in here and I'll set the control type to a combo box. And you'll notice every time I select a control type for the prompt, it's got a corresponding number. And that's going to be important later if we ever have to connect a formula to it. But for both of these, we're just going to set it to a combo box. We're also going to go ahead and populate our help text. So we'll say and just like that. Combo boxes are a way to select different selections. So we're going to need to have a series of values here. And that's what the combo box value text box is for. So for this example, I'm just going to enter one of them. Some Doug Mockett here for the manufacturer, and then I'll go ahead and add in a couple different grommet types that we have prepared. So you'll see here that I'm using the pipe to separate the values. That is what separates those in the combo box to make your selection. And TG, just like that. Last thing to do here is to go ahead and give these a color. Different colors allow the prompts to stand out in the product, make it easily identifiable with similar prompt types and things like that. So let's go ahead and put in some prompts for positioning the grommets. So a couple more visible prompts. Grommet X and Y location. Good. So for the X and Y location for these grommets, we're going to want these to be user defined. So text box should do just fine for these. You could also have set numbers if you wanted to use checkbox or rather combo box, but for this example, we're going to use text box. We're going to set the colors. So we'll give them a magenta color. And then we're going to set up some help text as well. So just like that. Good. So once we have those set up, let's go ahead and take a look at our work, make sure everything looks good. So go back into product prompts. And now you can see here on the main tab, we have the 4 prompts that we just added. There you have the pull down menus with the manufacturer, the different types, and some blank text box that we can then add a location. At this point, it's kind of sloppy, however, because I don't want just this grommet information hanging out on the main tab. It's not where it goes typically. Let's see. All right, and so what I want to do is I want to go ahead and put those on their own tab. And again, if you have questions, please just go ahead and enter them in the chat there, and we'll have somebody answer those for you. So to put these on their own tab, we're going to go back into the part properties, and we're going back into to modify the prompts. So we'll go ahead and close that for now, and we're going back into product prompts or part properties. So to get a tab, it's this extra tab up here called tabs, calculators, and warning messages. During today's meeting, all I'm going to do is focus mainly on the tab list. If you want to know more information about calculators, warning messages, or anything anything else regarding custom prompts or what you see today, just reach out to your account manager. They'd be happy to work with you on that. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click here and we're going to add a tab, a new tab. And we're going to call this tab Grommet Parameters. Perfect. There we go. So to connect those prompts to the tab, we're going to go ahead and go through and add a tab index, so that's what actually puts those prompts on the tab that you have specified. In order to determine the tab index, we need to take account of where this is at. And the easiest way to do that is just to start at 0. The main tab is always going to be 0. So you just go through 14, 15. So our tab index for this new tab is going to be 15. So we're going to come back here and we're going to say tab index 15 for those 4. I'm not going to do it for the add grommet parameter because I want that to reside on the main tab on the top end level, but we're going to save and close and we're going to take a look at it now. Perfect. All right, so we have our grommet parameters and our 4 custom prompts up here on the correct tab. Now, at this point, the tabs don't really do anything. In fact, it's still kind of sloppy in my opinion, because if we uncheck the grommet, our grommet parameters are still activated on the tab. So let's go ahead and fix that up. So we're going to go back into part properties. And we're going to come through and we're going to say, this is where we're going to deal with the control type. So for the manufacturer, we're going to take a look at the control type again. This is a combo box, but you see here below we have hidden. So if I change it to hidden, it's going to be a 6. If I change it to a combo box, back to a 5. So 5 and 6 are what we're after. If we click in that value, we down here in the formula bar, we're going to write a simple formula. If add grommet is on, then we want it to be a combo box, otherwise it's going to be hidden. Just like that is what we need. And then for the type, the control type is a combo box as well, so we can use the same formula. For the X and Y, we're actually after a 1 for the control type and then a 6 if it's hidden. So we can come in and we say this 5 can be changed to a 1. And then we'll copy this over just like that. Save and close. And now when we go back into our product, oops, wrong button. We go back into our product prompts. If we deselect add grommet, now you can see our tab disappears because all the prompts on that tab are now hidden. So that's nice and clean and set up. At this point, if we were to select anything like right here, we'll say 42, 12, it just doesn't do anything because those prompts are not connected to the piece of hardware that we want to add. So the last part to deal with here is to go ahead and add our hardware in and connect it to the prompts that we just created. So let's go back into our part properties. We're going to go into the hardware for this one, and we're going to add a new piece of hardware. For this example, I went ahead and added a couple pieces of hardware for us to use to correspond with the pull down menu for the manufacturer and the grommet types that I wanted to use. I'm just going to put this as a placeholder, and we're going to start building connections to those prompts that we made. We're going to keep it really simple. So because the combo box actually has the manufacturer and the types separated, we're going to need to string together the name. So it's really simple. You're just going to say grommet manufacturer and grommet type, just like that. When you hit apply formula, you should see that update just as we wanted. Quantity is going to be just the same. If we're adding a grommet, that's what we're going to reference. So equals add grommet, just like that. Now your X and Y origin, we're going to want those connected to the grommet X and Y position. So we're going to say equals grommet X. I think I said position. No, it was position. Location. Yep. Okay. And if I can get my spelling correct, there we go. So for the Y, we're going to enter the Y. Now there's something important to consider when locating hardware and parts within a product. With our value of 12, if we take a look at the XY coordinates for this, the product is always going to grow this way. But in model space, to grow down is the negative Y. So if we come into the origin of this part, we want to make sure that the Y value is going to be a negative. You can either add that as a negative sign in front of the defined prompt or multiply it by a -1. And that's how that works. So let's go ahead and add that there and hit apply formula. So for the Z origin, the grommets are going to reside on the top of the countertop deck, which in this case, it's going to be the height of the product, just like that. And the last thing, it's associative hardware that I set up for these. So the machining is actually attached to the hardware. So we want to put an associative rotation angle in there. Now, when we set this up, everything should be connected. We're going to go ahead and go into our product prompts. We're going to say add grommets. All of these look good. We'll hit OK. So there we have our grommet set at 42 from the X, -12 to the Y. Go into an isometric view, take a look at it. The machining is there. The graphical representation is there. Everything looks good. If we come in, we'll say maybe a different model, a different location. Just like that. So the last thing I think we should cover probably is what to do with this after you've made the modifications. Someone asked me to kind of throw this in here at the end is once this is done, how do I save it back to the library? It's really easy to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to come into Toolbox Setup Options, and we're going to go into our Database Explorer. So Database Explorer is the interface where it allows you to navigate through the database. For our products category here, maybe I want to make a unique category. We're just going to say this folder's name is Tips and Tricks. So we have this folder in which I'm going to save our new product. Go ahead and close that. So now we'll come into the modify category. We'll say modify products and save product to library. And this is why we kept all of our default product values the same. That way you have it remain linked to your globals and your wizards and everything. So you can go and change those, and the countertop settings and everything still remain the same. We'll come in, we'll find our tips and tricks folder, and we'll say straight countertop, you know, with grommets. And that's it.
Great, Matt. There's a quick question that I said well, you could answer for us.
Okay.
And that is there an easy way to add the prompts to more than one product?
So yes, there is.
I was thinking Library Designer.
Well, Library Designer is definitely one way to go. You know, if you're adding subassembly prompts, then subassemblies are definitely easily distributed because a lot of subassemblies are shared. Library Designer is a way to distribute those prompts to products that are already set up and save them to the library. You can also come into part properties and copy prompts to the clipboard, I believe. So you have this clipboard that you can take prompts, and we can take these prompts and save it and then move them manually to wherever they need to go in whatever product. So that's another way to do it on the fly here for the one-off products.
Cool beans. We might have another live event that talks about using Library Designer to spread them, but that's a good way too.
Yep.
Thanks.
All right. Well, thanks, Matt, for showing us that information, and Lenny for chiming in there with that additional question. And yes, we will most likely be having one on Library Designer coming up soon, so stay tuned for the schedule update. So that'll about do it for today. We appreciate you joining us, Matt, and helping us learn how to add these prompts to products. Join us tomorrow for another live session at 11 a.m. tomorrow Pacific time. We'll be hearing from Amy Reisenauer, and she'll be reviewing some tips and tricks related to streamlining your drafting workflow. If you haven't registered for that one yet, you can go to our website at microvellum.com/live to check out our schedule and register. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we will catch up with you again tomorrow.